I almost feel like I need to walk back a little bit. Walk back a little bit. I'm gonna make like a ramp over the river, I think. Probably up to that walkway. Okay, looks like I gotta climb up this one. But yeah, I might see if I can actually Shanghai some friends for it. My one problem is, well, I don't know. My one problem is there's never enough time for everything, so it'll probably just be solo or solo with fans again. But that's always fun. Let's see, actually we should probably do the light ramp. Okay, there we go. So where's this coal? Because, yeah, it looks like we've got this whole thing up here. I'm not necessarily sure if it would be... Well, I found the coal. There's a lot of coal up there, by the way. Well, let's see. It's okay, dude. Just like your videos. They help me get by each and every day, so thank you in a huge way. Thanks for having something to look forward to in life. So your dad was diagnosed with cancer. Ooh. I do not apologize for the sudden feels. They're understandable. I mean, I don't know. I'm bad. Well, no. I guess I'd say I'm bad at empathizing, but I actually kind of understand. My favorite uncle has got colon cancer, and I don't entirely know what his life expectancy is at this point. I gotta make sure I go back to Minnesota and visit them again. Currently, he's, I think, traveling the world with my grandmother, more or less. Is that? Oh, that's cool. That's a really nice view of this space elevator, actually. But like, I wouldn't say that I'm going through it because obviously there's a far cry from favorite uncle to straight up father, but. It's grim, and I hate it. It always throws me off just how far we are from curing diseases like cancer specifically, you know. I guess for me, I'm so used to tech and medical science advancing like at warp speed almost seemingly, but I think it's just mainly perception of time is skewed based on history books and whatnot. Didn't know too much about my family's condition. I usually am never around them. You know, most of my family lives over in Minnesota. I was gonna say up in Minnesota, but no. Now I'm further north than I used to be. So I called my grandmother for the first time in honestly years. I don't generally like to talk to my extended relatives because they're a wee bit racist. But I called my grandma for once just because she is getting on in years and, you know, should probably do that because the alternative is never, and also it made Shell happy because she's much closer to her grandmother than I am with mine. Either of mine, really. And I felt bad because pretty much the entire conversation with my grandma at the time was just like, so, how's the family? And she's like, they're all dying. And I'm like, that's, not necessarily what I wanted to hear, but I guess that's fair. I was hoping I ramped it well, but no dice. At least this is going to give me a really good building point to go find slugs next time. Well, next time? At some point. I'm so glad I don't have to worry about structural stability. Which games force you to worry about that? Was it 7 Days to Die would have, like, structural stability issues? Or am I imagining things? God, I gotta play that game again. I haven't played that game in ages. Subnautica. Subnautica kind of does. Subnautica is cheesable. All you have to do is just make sure you have reinforcements. And it just gives you a pass. It's just like, alright! Let's see. Imperium in 7 days. Oh, right. Probably Imperion, right? Every time I try and go back to Imperion, I just kind of remember how garbage I was at the game. Clearly, I should have just made a super ramp like this with my base at a vac. I am actually kind of cheese looking at this now. Why can't I do hydroelectric power in this game? Like, honest question. Hydroelectric, solar power, wind power? Why not wind power? But no, I guess I also always get a little bit freaked out about cancer specifically. One, because I'm starting to get older, and to the point where, like, yeah, you know, you could just randomly end up with cancer. You know, that's just how it goes. But I'm sure this is actually really shared experience with a lot of people in my field. But I'm a big fan, or I guess I was a big fan of Total Biscuit back in the day. And I guess I still am. He is a sizable influence on, like, what my channel became. And, you know, I'd always hoped to end up on the co-optional broadcast as one of the, like, guests and stuff, because there were 4 channels that I watched going into, I guess, starting my job. It was Gassy Mexican, 5 channels, I guess, though one of them wasn't as informative on my content. But it was Gassy Mexican, Game Grumps, Total Biscuit, Chip and Ironicus, and Northern Lion. Those were the 5. Yeah, that was a shame. Yeah, exactly. And so, I get a little bit freaked out about it, honestly, at this point.
This consumable possesses minor healing properties. Further analysis required to establish object scanner identification.
Because, you know, I'd hate to, I guess, end up in the same way, but it also just makes me incredibly sad because, like, yeah, no, straight up, I will never meet one of my, I guess, unwitting mentors in life, and that's kind of sad. I've actually been pretty good at meeting people that, like, I'm actually pretty good at meeting people that, like, inspired me, I guess. Oh, there goes the power, finally. Because, let's see, Brian Jacques, was it? He was the author of Redwall. I got to meet him before he died. Never did get to meet Terry Pratchett, but that one's a bit tough. Let's see. Obviously, I'm getting to meet a whole bucket load of developers. Not a whole lot of the, like, older ones that, like, really informed my younger years. Whoop. Hi. I'm pretty sure... I'm 90% sure. Ooh, this got laggy. I'm 90% certain... I can't chainsaw these guys. Oh, there's 3 of them. Of course there's 3 of them. Okay. I apologize for all the lag. This game doesn't really do high-intensity combat, to be totally honest. Okay. So, coal. Next one's over there. Well, I have munchy nuts, so we might as well just jam munchy nuts into my face. Let's see. I might have to go back to the... I might have to go back to the base. And convert a bunch of this into biofuel first. Yeah, let's probably do that. Oh. Okay, game lagged real hard there. Let's save as Oh, right. Can't put question marks in there. Okay, we got Parmesan. Let's inventory. Grab the zapper. Let's, at the very least... I'm gonna just put that there. I got some amount of concrete. Probably drop down. Approaching on others' clearance. Bull hockey. Alright, there we go. Oh, and see you, Mech Dragon. Have a, good whatever you're doing. Dinner? Probably. Ooh, it is actually getting closer to dinner time. I've been going for a while, and I'm probably going to keep going for a while. Fire is too long. No. Okay, well. Kind of works. Man, the build range is nuts in this game. I love it. Okay. That's nice and power planty. Now, the other power line was somewhere over here. I doubt I'm going to be able to hook them together, honestly. Oh, yeah. No way am I going to hook them together. I forgot about this. Let's see. The next... Where was it? It was over here, yeah? Ramp system was right over here. I really wish you could actually zip line from power lines. That would be a neat little upgrade. Yeah, I figured wire would be too long. Okay, let's go clear our inventory a little bit. Let's see, is the what time still accurate? No, it's actually 2 hours off. If a moderator wants to change that at some point. I've moved, west. Oh, Machi nuts. Wow, that gets really washed out in the sun. It would be neat if you could actually get, if like, for the desert world, you actually had to worry about heat. And you had to, like, make cooling stuff. Man, that just makes me want to play, Don't Starve. That's definitely a someday thing that I want to do with a multiplayer. Don't Starve together. Because I've actually never done a proper series on it. We always get into winter and then somebody bails and then everyone else loses energy. The main problem is one of those games where... I'm not going to say I'm an expert on Don't Starve, but I know a decent chunk about it. And so oftentimes when I play Don't Starve with other players, they have no idea how Don't Starve works. And let's see, how do we do this? Drop these off. They have no idea how it works, and they get mad at me for not teaching them. But I'm like, I'm the worst teacher in existence. I originally wanted to be an art teacher until I realized that there's no way I could humanly teach other human beings without losing my mind. It just doesn't track. I get really frustrated, because, like, for anything that's, like, really easy and basic for me, I can't communicate it, unfortunately. And so, like, I've always wanted to do a series on Don't Starve specifically, Don't Starve Together, because you don't have to worry about the death penalty, but it's entirely offset by, like, people being like, you need to teach me exactly how to play. So I remember playing with the last group, and it was Keith, very specifically, was furious at me because I wasn't telling him what to do more, but then I was telling him what to do, and he didn't get it, and he was just kind of wandering around grabbing rocks, and he was mad about that. And I was like, that's the game, that's what you're supposed to do, you're just supposed to hoard stuff. I guess that wasn't good enough. I don't know. I'm a very big, like, self-discovery kind of guy, learning as you go, and I think it always throws me off when other people don't learn that way. Not as a, like, how could you not, but as more of a just, like, culture shock every single time I run into other people's learning habits, and it surprises me. In bad ways, honestly, just because, yeah, it's hard to think on the fly, because not only am I having to deal with the game, but suddenly I have to be education man. It's like, no. This is my bubble of being unable to speak with other human beings properly. You've encroached. Okay, so which one of you ran out of fuel? I gotta fix you. Probably you? Yeah, you. At least I got a whole bunch of biofuel just kind of kicking around. Okay, and that should be enough. There's a lot of Steam guides that can help you out on Don't Starve. Yeah, unfortunately, I found in the past trying to be like, hey, you know, here's some, like, really easy resources to learn how to play. Everybody's just like, eh. God, I had that problem with D&D, actually. I'm a decent DM, but I'm not very good at teaching other people how to play. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I've read both the 3.0, 3.5, and 4.0 main books. DM Guide, Player's Handbook, so on and so forth. Oh, right. I was going to go grab Concrete. That's what it was. But so I've read, you know, all of these player handbooks and stuff, and admittedly I don't remember all of the rules just because information retention is a bit of a pain. Yeah, I haven't read the Pathfinder books. Let's see. I thought Durf picked it up okay. No. If it seems like he really picked up the rules, it was because I set it up so that he just had to hit buttons and figure stuff out. And also, I knew how to organize the campaign in such a way that new players... I'm getting better at playing with new players. They don't necessarily learn how to play very well, but they don't have to try very hard, which maybe doesn't force them to learn very well either, but, so, for the Grave of Man campaign, very specifically, you know, everybody more or less got it, but by the time Shattered Planet started, it actually went on to relatively easy mode. Because it was, like, slightly more roleplay focused, less on the gameplay mechanics and stuff. And there were definitely some notable bits where I was just like, you need to actually think outside the box, and the response was, meh. I love thinking outside the box in D&D. Honestly, I want to do a, I want to do a D&D campaign at some point where all the players are not pacifists, but none of their characters are armed. You know, you have, every character has a big old bag of tricks. You know, anywhere from immovable rods to, like, weird kind of broken stuff here and there. Suddenly mass D&D is the thing. Hell no. I'm never doing that. You will never have me DMing a campaign with more than 6 people tops. I can't do it. But yeah, so you gotta get creative to survive. Yeah, something like that. Just a campaign where everybody might actually have some really ridiculous things. But nobody is outwardly, like, capable of violence. Necessarily, so everybody has to think creatively. You know, everybody's a spellcaster and stuff. How would that work with spells? Well, you just don't have Fireball. I don't know. It would be an interesting trial to see how creative people could get. That's one of the reasons why I liked, it would change feat progression so much. It would, and I don't want to do this anytime soon. I'd rather do this with a much more experienced group, so I'm not, like, really throwing people to the wolves, because I know D&D can be really complicated for beginners. Keep using polymorph. Yeah, but, you know, say if you can only do polymorph twice and you've got a whole group of people, well, maybe you polymorph somebody into, you know, something particularly spooky. Yeah, okay, that would work. But you can't just, like, polymorph, every single person in a room. You're gonna run out of it real quick. As part of the reasons why I like Divinity Original Sin so much is because, yeah, you could just kind of punch through with numbers, but the game felt so much stronger when you were actually working, when you were using the mechanics in your favor, stunning enemies with water and electricity, for example. And it would be fascinating to see that kind of thing expressed in a full D&D campaign. Alright, I think I actually made this too big. But yeah, definitely something that would be, like, way far back in the list of campaigns I'd like to do. I'd also really like to do a campaign where everybody is like a normal D&D character, but every single one of them is like a wizard. Not necessarily like standard D&D wizard, but like... So, your character might be a fighter, but you are also the Gastromancer. And so we kind of homebrew the crap out of a non-violent, food and or digestion related, spell set. And the Gastromancer is, you know, is able to do a lot of, like, food related spells for purely, like, roleplay and puzzle solving mechanics. Because one thing that really bugs me about D&D in general is there's actually shockingly few, I mean, no, there's a whole bunch of utility spells, but there's not as many as I'd like. You know, a lot of them really do have to just deal with slinging fireballs and stuff. And I think it would be really cool to, like, homebrew some spell sets that are entirely useless in combat, or at least, you know, might be useful in combat, but not directly, in the same way that, like... that, you know, a fireball would be. Let's see. Drop that there. So I can get several mines here. Oh. Damn it. Okay, what kind of is... Oh, boy, these are all pure. See, I think druids and bards have the most utility in spells. Yeah, actually, wizards and sorcerers have quite a lot, too. They just have a lot of combat spells, so it looks like they have less utility spells. Let's see. Didn't the full version of this game release already? No. Satisfactory won't have a full release for quite some time, actually. One of my favorite things in Grave of Man was using Tablemancer's magic, but it going horribly awry and flooding the room with tables. Yeah, that was funny. That's part of the reason why I want to do a, That's part of the reason why I want to do a campaign where everybody just has, like, weird utility spells, as kind of a fun goof. Because I think it would be more interesting if half the players are just using bags of tricks to get into and out of trouble instead. Let's see. Might as well tear that up at least. Probably. Can't afford. Well, balls. Okay, so what do I need? Oh, right, I need mining things. Yeah, 5e sorcerers don't get utility. Yeah, that's part of the reason why I don't like, that's part of the reason why I don't like 5th edition as much. It is very streamlined, but utility spells disappeared. A lot more than I was expecting they would. And it's like, it's not that big of a deal, but it's noticeable and disappointing. Because for 3.5 and Pathfinder, I actually bought a whole bunch of, oh, right, I was going to go grab Concrete as well. For 3.5 and Pathfinder, I've bought every single spell book that they've ever released. And some of them have some downright unfair, some of them have some downright unfair spells in them, but some of them are just totally delicious. And I've always wanted to use them, but, you know, most D&D campaigns are all just, they're very combat focused. And it's like, I don't know, it'd be kind of fun to do some D&D campaigns that are less so. You know, maybe you're still going into dungeons, maybe you get into the occasional fight, but it's much more about, like, here's just like an arbitrary thing. Good luck. Let's see. Move that down a little bit. There's just giant chasms. How do you get across? Look for a way around. No. There is no way around. Good luck. I mean, it would be almost interesting to play D&D as, like, a thought experiment. No continuity. Just, like, here's a bunch of weird challenges that are disconnected. I mean, I guess that's what it is. Almost every dungeon is just, like, a disconnected thought experiment. And the only real continuity is just the fact that the players are there. And working together. 5e only has 2 books with spells, so maybe it needs more time. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm an impatient person. Also, 5e's been out for a while. The main thing is, D&D Wizards of the Coast, more or less, the reason why there's so few books for 5th edition is because, they went overboard with 3.5 and it was impossible to balance. And so they wanted to actually have, like, a proper balanced, you know, rule set for 5th edition and actually, like, keep it really, really, like, tightened down, which is smart, but, sucks a little bit for me. 'Cause I like wild nonsense. First time watching Wander live, not on YouTube, and keep trying to rewind when distracted. Sorry. That said, this will be going on YouTube, at some point. I don't exactly know when. Probably sometime over the next couple days. Well, actually, I mean, I've been playing for 4 hours. The rule of thumb is generally... See, I don't even know how I want to do this. Since this is pure, we're pretty much just going to want a splitter. And because we're aiming for peak efficiency here, we don't have to worry about... Oh. Okay, that's a little close. I wish they would actually hook up like that, because that would be really cool. Yeah, I think I might actually straight up do that. The next time I run a D&D campaign, give every character a spell. You know, let every player pick one school of magic that their character knows that kind of nobody else knows. And at various intervals, they learn a new spell associated with their... whatever their school is. So, like... How many of you guys remember the duct tape orb from my previous campaign? I'm assuming some people are vaguely aware of the thing. A conveyor belt is too long. But I would love to have somebody have duct tape spells so they can just mush things together. Just as a... just mechanically... Oh, no. I'm not doing that. I'm doing two. Mechanically, like, all the character does is just straight up, take two things and then combine them. Okay, so we've got coal coming. Now, obviously, it's gonna take some time to get this going. Let's just wait a little bit. I guess, honestly, I'm gonna get impatient and just chuck some in manually. Figure it out.